Buenos dias, Gunnerz Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some snack habits. Bye, bye. Let's get straight to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So if you guys watched the video the other day, I explained to you how I went through some motions. I went through some, not motion sickness, but definitely some sickness and some motions the other day while live on TikTok. And there's a lot of people that were shocked to hear, exactly what I went through. There was also a lot of people that gave a lot of understanding, have been through some of the type of similar situations I was going through. Now, there's a lot of naysayers as well. There's a lot of content creators and people out there that are denying the facts, that are sitting there and saying, man, Gunner's putting too much salsa on the tacos. Gunner's just bullshitting. Gunner used a fucking filter on his face. Gunner's lying, right? He just wants attention and clout and views. Well, here's a newsflash, bitch. I'm going to get that regardless, whether I'm sick or not. Now, I've been sick for a couple years now. Once I was diagnosed with diabetes, I didn't feel like a normal person felt, right? And it's an everyday struggle because I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm a lover of food. I'm a person that loves to do what he does. I'm kind of stuck in my rutina, right? I've been one type of way my whole life, and it's hard to switch up your whole lifestyle. And when you're sick, man, you have to make some concessions. You have to change things up. You have to start working out. You have to start taking walks. You have to start eating right. There's a lot of things you do when you get older or you get sick. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm on my motherfucking P's and Q's when it comes to that, because I'm not. Okay? It's not that I'm not taking care of myself. It's not that I don't got anything to live for. It's just I'm stuck in my ways, and it's harder for me than it is probably others. And there's others that it's even worse for. So no, I'm not neglecting myself, but I'm definitely affecting myself when I'm not doing the right thing. And I try, but it's pretty hard. So anyways, I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with me. So if you guys watched the video, you guys got a good understanding. But for those of you that didn't, let me recap. I was live on TikTok. I had just made some food. Nothing out of the ordinary than I ever make. Something I've made 100 times. And it's actually a poor man's struggle Mexican meal, man. The carne with the pato sauce. Sometimes you put a little bit of green beans in it. Sometimes you don't. Some papas over a little bit of rice. And voila, a fucking Mexican masterpiece, right? Something that I grew up eating my whole life. My mom still makes it to this day. My abuelita used to make it. My grandmother, all my tias. It was one of those, they could throw fucking cans of whatever in it. And here, you guys eat or shut the fuck up and don't eat at all. You understand the struggle. That's the type of style I come from. Eat or don't. We don't give a fuck. Just get out of the way of the TV. I'm watching my novela. Esmeralda. That's how it was in my household. So it's something I grew up eating. So it's something I know I can make easily. And I made it just like any other day. When I sat down on the live, and it's crazy because I usually don't eat on lives. Lately, I have been, because I'm so overwhelmed with so much that I have to do. Being a single father, I got kids to deal with. I got YouTube content creations to deal with. I'm now on a different platform. I got that to deal with. I got to still go to my other jale. I got to clean my home. There's a lot of things that, I have to do. And sometimes the time ain't sufficient enough for me to do everything I got to do, or at least that's the way I feel. So I got to try to kill two birds with one stone, right? And so I said, you know what? I got to go live at 6. Let me go ahead and just and grub while I'm on live. I see everyone else doing it. Why not? Sometimes it's always cool to be a leader, but sometimes just follow the yellow brick road, right? So I did. And as I took a few bites, it wasn't just one bite. The first bite, it was kind of hot. So I noticed something odd in my body as soon as I took that first bite. By the second and third bite, I realized, man, I was osco, meaning I was feeling sick, right? And I told the live, I'm going to go to the restroom real quick. Well, I didn't tell him I was going to the restroom. I said, I'll be back. because it happened that fast. And my body went into an allergic reaction and started to reject the food that I was eating. And I was throwing up so bad in the toilet that I busted every blood vessel in my face. And the picture you see on the thumbnail was the result. Okay, there's a lot of people running around. That's not how food poisoning works. It takes time. It has to hit yourself. Listen, suck a fish. I don't know what it fuck it was, but I know it was an allergic reaction to that tainted ass food I was eating. That's a fact, right? The meat that I bought was reduced meat. And so that means my body got reduced in health. Okay. Again, man, I'm just saying, keep an eye on what you guys get and what you guys consume, because you never know. It could be, and people were like, oh, that's why you got to buy Prime. That's why you got to buy fucking this. That's why you got to buy that. That's why I got to get money. As a Mexican man, I got to make more money, right? So I could enjoy the luxuries of life. But I've seen people eat the finest Kobe beef on earth and pass out, right? You just never know, man. It's God's plan, not ours. We don't know what's going on. I was doing my regular routine of what I always do. And one thing about me, let me let you guys know in on a Gunnerz collective secret. Here's some knowledge you can't get in college. I don't ever switch up my rutina, meaning I eat the same foods all the time, the same shit. I'm very repetitive. And that comes from being incarcerated at a very young age. Get up at the same times every day, make my bed the same way, eat the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's just take showers the same. Everything I've been doing for years and years and years. And that's the indoctrination of incarceration. Everything becomes repetitive. So my meal styles don't switch. Every once in a while, you might find a shrimp or two in something, right? But for the most part, I'm eating the same things. Anyways, long story short, I got violently and very sick. I had to go to the hospital, to the emergency room, and I had to take several tests. Now, immediately upon getting sick, I called a friend who called their father, who's a doctor, and he diagnosed me over the phone. But I still had to go to the hospital just because, and just to be safe. Because he let me know that when you consume something, if it breaks down in the digestive system, guess what? You could actually that's when the food poisoning kicks in. That's when, if it gets in your bloodstream, you could actually get things like sepsis and other different diseases, and that could be fatal. So when I did my video the next day explaining exactly what had happened to me, I put out the real, point blank. I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was passing away. That's how bad it was. And I looked like death. That picture doesn't do justice. How I felt and how I looked was horrible. And I looked horrible several days after. If you notice, I'm still red right here. I just recently, my face is getting back up to par. My cheeks is getting rosy red again. But I still got a lot of red right here from all the capillaries, or I guess all the blood vessels busting in my face. And that was from violently throwing up when all I had in my system was water, right? And I threw up blood and several other things, bile and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, yesterday I went to a doctor's appointment. That night when I went, they checked my, of course they checked my blood sugar because I'm a diabetic. That's what makes things even worse, is I have an ongoing health, situation. I hate to say disease because it makes you sound like Rocky Dennis from Mask, right? But, and I actually have, being a diabetic, I have to watch myself a little bit more than others. There's a little bit more concerns there. So, of course, they did blood sugar. My blood sugar was kind of high. All the zuzus and the wham-whams that come with going to the emergency room. They did their test. They took blood. Anyways, I went back yesterday, and the doctor believes that some of the food I did digest it. He asked me how I was feeling. I said, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling all right. I'm more concerned with my facial features and how I look rather than how I feel, which, of course, is, let's just be real. Let's speak for real here. That's like everybody's thing. You don't want to fucking look like a poop butt walking around looking like fucking a monster, right? It was pretty bad. I couldn't go out of the house for 2 days and face anyone, go to the stores, whatever, because I looked horrible. Well, let me explain to you something that happened. So I ended up going back to that same store. Anyways, the doctors, they're going to run more tests in the next coming days and see exactly what's going on, because I was feeling well. And up until last night, I started feeling a little bit more nauseous and different. So it's not a fucking life or death situation, but it's definitely a situation I'm going to monitor. And I ain't even going to lie. I've been kind of scared of eating meat, man. I've been like, I might go vegan on you motherfuckers, right? It's the Gunnerz Collective might not eat a motherfucking steak anymore. It's just, it's when something traumatic happens like that, it's hard to understand unless you go through some shit like that, right? Anyways, trip out on this. I go to the same store the other day. some Asian chicks there. You know, they have self-checkouts at the stores and shit. So I'm doing my thing, right? And I have the glasses on, you know, because at that time my face was still a little fucked up. Not as bad as it was on day 1 or 2, but it was still rough, right? And I'm getting my shit and I got some beer, right? And so they have to do an ID check or whatever. So the lady comes up, she grabs my ID, right? She goes, "Can you pull your glasses off so I can see your face? Like I don't look like an old ass man, right?" So I do, and I can see the look on her face. And she's like, "Oh shit!" Like wow, because my eyes were black and it was just all I was tore up, right? So she's like, "Oh, what happened?" And I said, some of you guys is tainted ass fucking meat. This is what happened, right?" And she went into straight up fucking defense when she was like, "Oh, I would have got a refund if I was you." Bitch, a refund? My life almost didn't get refunded, right? And I was like, nah, there's more than that, right? And look, all that, oh, I can't sue or I can sue and all that. Look, I'm not going to. Okay, I ain't never been a cop caller. I understand, look, I got a situation where I can, right? And probably I can get money or all that. I'm not going to put myself and my family and anyone through that. You know, that would be way in the distant future. And they could, look, I bought some fucking fucked up meat. I was trying to buy some cheap shit and the shit was overdue in date. Yes, they were liable for putting shit out there that was already past due. I was liable for not reading correctly. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's a push. And so I'm just going to push back from that. But I was upset the way she was looking at me and the way she was defending the store. So I let her know straight up. I said, "Man, you guys got some fucked up ass shit around here. I'm surprised I'm even in here, but I like the way the blood orges taste." Right. And so that was all that. But I did go to the doctors, and the update is that they're going to do more blood tests, man. He said that according to the first test, man, something did get in my system. And of course, man, like I said, it wasn't just one bite. I took a few bites and it was not like within 10 seconds. It was probably a minute before I felt the osco and then I jumped up and got somewhere, right? So I also wanted to say something else. You know, this is not the first time ever in my life I've experienced this. You know, when it happened, I was telling you guys a story about when I was in prison and my face just started to blotch up and the CO didn't want to send me to medical and all that. Those of you that watched my first video, you heard that story. I remember another time I was young, man. And do you guys remember those George Foreman grills? You know, the ones that make the little fucking pizza pocket sandwiches. They're like a triangle. You use regular bread. Well, my homeboy Beto, rest in peace, man. My boy, right? I remember they had got one. Their family had got one. And we were youngsters, man. We wanted to put everything in that motherfucker. We didn't anything and everything. We bought a whole loaf of bread and we were making peanut butter and jelly fucking pockets, pepperoni pizza pockets, fucking just mayonnaise and bread pockets, right? Whatever. Crawdads, we're catching pockets. And one day he calls me over and he's like, "Hey, bro, you want to make it?" Yeah, we're watching movies and do all that. We're young, 8, 9 years old. And they had just came out the George Foreman girls, so they were hot, right? If you had them, you were doing big things. I remember my mom said, "We can't afford that shit." And so little did I know he has these pockets. He said, "Oh, they're chicken pizza pockets." And I was like, "Oh, cool." This motherfucker took a raw chicken out of the freezer, defrosted it, and just shredded the meat, not cooking it, not boiling it, nothing, threw it in some bread and put it in that thing. Well, needless to say, it didn't cook it right. After about 3 bites of that shit, I ran down the street and had chorro everywhere running down the street. And it was bad. I threw up again. My face was fucked up. Not as bad as it is now or was now. But I remember being sick for about a week. So you got to watch what you consume and cook it right. Do your due diligence and put it through the due process, right? Because I remember, you know, and for years I wouldn't eat chicken. Couldn't drive past a Pioneer chicken without wanting to slap the colonel, right? It was just all bad. You know what I'm saying? Popeye's chicken, I wanted to do the Bluto on Popeye, right? The Brutus or whatever his name is. Anyways, I want to say to everybody that showed concern, everybody that left a comment on my videos, everyone that voiced their opinion, thank you. I appreciate you. Whether you were there to be negative or positive or whatever, I appreciate the fact that you recognize me and that I affect your daily life as far as watching me, making you laugh, whatever I do, man. Because I'm not going to be here one day. You're not going to be here one day. And so what I'm doing with these videos, not only am I giving you knowledge you can't get in college and giving you game, but not giving up game, I'm also telling you stories that could help you change. I'm also making you laugh. I've changed a lot of lives and you guys have changed mine. So with that being said, thank you. Thank you for everyone that showed concern because it was definitely a life or death experience. You know, it could have went real left real fast. Now, I also want to say a big fuck you to the haters and all those content creators that literally made videos, you know, questioning my integrity, questioning, did I do it for clicks or views? Questioning, was I lying? Was I putting too much salsa on the tacos? Look, this is my life. You're not living it. If you don't like what I got to say, push on. You know, if you want to sit there and utilize my name to get views, and you want to utilize what I got to say for clicks and for all that bullshit. But when something really happens, the first thing you want to do is throw me under the bus or talk shit, or is Gunner lying? Is Gunner lying? Are you lying? Are you fucking lying? You know, who the fuck are you, bro? Half these guys, I don't know them, never met them in real life. Wouldn't piss on them if they were on fucking fire. Probably would be the one to light them on fire and then piss around the corner, right? And at the end of the day, these are the same individuals that will use my name to get clout, use my name to get fucking money, use my name for all of that, and then wish death upon me. You know, once I'm gone, homie, there goes your channel. Because without myself and Vatos Like Dubs, you ain't got nada. Right? You got to work hard, toil in the soil for what you got. Everything I've built here. Half the fucking prison content creator channels on YouTube could stem from my tree. Okay, people like Renegade Media, you think he just popped up with a fucking San Francisco Giants hat and started spitting game? Who you think fucking he was watching before he did that? And he could deny it all he wants, but he knows deep down inside, man, he emulates but cannot impersonate. That just is what it is. Facts, right? Then you got other channels, you know, that continuously use my name. Or if you look in their background, it's similar to mine. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the motherfucking jockeying game is real. Everything I've done unique. Everything I've done, everything I've built, all the people that I helped, I did it from the kindness of my heart. And these are the same people that wish my heart to stop beating. There was people literally wishing death upon me. Many men wish death upon G. Well, guess what? I'm not dead. I ain't gone yet. I'm still here. I'm still going to continue to rock the good rhyme. I'm still going to continue to pop. I'm still here. But don't be mad at the fact that I do what I do and you want to do what I do. Just do you. So for all those haters that tested my integrity and I mean, anything I do, if I take a shit and it's brown, they'll say, no, it's green, right? He's putting too much salsa on it. Look, I don't care, man. I don't care what you think. If you think my stories are lies, I don't care what you think. If you think I haven't been to this yard or that yard or try to place me on the yards in your fucking head, you know, at the end of the day, you're the ones with webbles on your face because you're the ones that are on my nuts, right? I'm just doing what I do, man. And hey, shout out to the supporters and the real ones that do support me. And to those that don't, Dre Day's only making Gunner's payday. Literally. Okay? Every time you say my name, oh, you think you're winning, but I'm winning. It just is what it is, man. Let's be real. You know, that's just what it is, man. All publicity, show business, mijo, show business. All publicity is good publicity. Okay, now at the end of the day, people are like, oh, when you get sick, why you have to go to the internet? Because there's a lot of people that care about me, unlike you. See, you got to use my name to get attention so you can get cared about. I'm cared about on my own. From the mud, homie. From the mud. Anyways, with that being said, I just wanted to thank the people that had good things to say, positive motivation, and the people that care. And I want to say fuck you to the people that don't. Okay, not that I care at all, but it's just real. That's just facts. Anyways, man, like I said, the update is I'm doing well. There are some more blood tests upcoming. And a lot of that I think is due to the concern of what I did digest and also my diabetes. You know, take care of yourselves, man. You know, if you have children, really take care of yourselves. You know, I'm on a new path. I'm going to try. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm 100%. You know, I got a lot of people that critique everything I do. Like I said, man, they want to know the color of my shit. They want to know the length of my weenie, right? Look, why do you care that much about another man to know how big his shit is? I said it. It's up to you to figure it out, you know? And why are you trying to figure out how big a man's thing is? Wow. Anyways, my thing was almost gone because I was almost gone. But I'm back. I feel better. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. And it just is what the fuck it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. See, Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. You know what's funny? Trip out on this. People will get upset because I make a video telling you exactly what happened to me, but they'll make the same video telling you about what happened to me, but be mad at me for making it. It's weird. This video, It's sponsored by Barrio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the area and you're wiggling through the Central Valley, stop in that little town of Turlock, man, and go support the homeboy Lolly right there at the Barrio Liquors and get you something cold to drink. Also, by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in Arizona, man. Google the homeboy, and if he's in your immediate and direct area, he's going to pull up, show out, man, and take care of you. And that's a fact. Thank you guys again for all the love, man. And for the haters, it's to be expected. You know what it feels like? You know what it feels like? It feels normal. You know what I'm saying? It feels normal.